Welcome to my newsletter in English that I'll be sending out to everybody now and then. In a while, I've been focusing more on building our new house here, sending a few letters out in German, but this is my first English newsletter in video form. I hope you enjoy it. It's an update on my perspectives on this current situation of our global situation, and also a little personal update here from our house in Bali. We've just moved into and we've just built this, and I have an exquisite architect. Behind me you can see this was my idea, having a bedroom with louver windows, because when we look straight out here, we look at a peek view of the ocean, which is the ocean, same as our Shambhala retreat center, right on the ocean here in Bali. So we're right behind it. First of all, I'd like to start out by saying last summer, July, when we came back to America, I had a foreboding feeling and an intense desire to prepare for something that I didn't know what it was, but I knew we had to prepare. I'm not a prepper, so I got desires to have freeze-dried fruit. I had desires to have water filters, water sources, installing RO units, to have waters, because we always got our water delivered on our island. So I sprung for the RO unit of the Multipure system, which I recommend if you have well water, or the regular Multipure if you have just city tap water. It even filters out Giardia down to 0.5 microns. 0.5 microns. Anyhow, I did all sorts of things, and we built this house, or had it built, long distance with my angel architect who reads my mind and I read his. So we just got done in January, slept 2 nights, went to India, came back, went into quarantine, and now this week, it's the first week, and I can walk you through a little bit later on. So stay tuned. I wanted to start out by saying that my perspective on what's going on now and everything I read, I see in relationship to what I felt coming last summer. I remember in September going, am I nuts? Luckily, Dawn trusts my intuition and insight, and I said to Dawn, sorry, I think something bad is coming. We will probably have to be isolated, and I think we need to have food storage and, bizarre things with nothing on the horizon, nothing whatsoever. I felt an urgency. Actually, I was hoping that we would get our house built just in time, because we're having a hydroponic system to grow salads and food in the garden and all sorts of things. Come January, there was a little bit of something on the horizon. I still didn't think that would be it. But then very soon, the end of January, it started becoming obvious that at least in China there would be an epidemic. And as many people as would like to think this is just a 5G problem or just a problem of propaganda and trying to become dictatorial, it is a created virus, yes, we know that, and it got out somehow, we know that. Remains to be seen whether we ever will find out who put it out. It could have been an inside job in China, it could have been a global technique of getting everybody quarantined and getting electric money out, and the robots trying to take over and all that kind of stuff. Fact is, the intensity of what we're experiencing is not made up. It is a virus that is spreading. The good news is it's only bad for 20% of the people, and of those, if we have enough hospital beds, less than 2% of the people die if we attend. Unlike countries like Iran or Italy, where people were like, no, it can't come to us, I'll pray 5 times, or I'll just do it mañana, tomorrow. They got hit harder. They have a 13 to 17% mortality rate. I know there are people who say you can only really accurately assess this in months to come, and then you can really compare numbers by how many people got it compared to how many people died and all that. And of course, some people, now get it, and 4 weeks later have serious problems. But the truth of the fact is, we all need to unite globally to take care of each other. So even if we collectively go into isolation, it means we're still working together as a whole. Now, it's hitting different countries in sequence. And apparently, some countries are not wanting to learn from previous countries, and I'm not sure why. In China, in Singapore, in South Korea, tracing was taken seriously, and they got on top of cases. Now they shut down China because that wasn't contact tracing wasn't possible anymore. But South Korea has been excellent, so we have a very low mortality rate there. But it takes everybody to cooperate. And we don't have that mindset in the West. Everybody is in it for themselves. We're so individualized, and everybody knows better than the next person that this, of course, is a big takeover and we all have to resist. No, really, I think we need to collaboratively isolate, collectively focus on coming out on the other end. Expect a long run. Expect 6 months. Take the economy another year. Expect things to be slower than normal. And like we've already read from many places, the form of introspection that can happen if we take time is also a welcomed relief. It's eerie, it's different. And like Dawn and I live isolatedly for 3 months out of the year. We have our secretary in America, and that's, you know, between a few friends that we visit, we write books, we create music. We need this inner time to be so productive. And it is in honing our meditation skills, our inner sight, that we then can get information from higher dimensions that let us know when to prepare for what. Teaching living from vision and working with the holographic universe and coming from the understanding that thought creates reality, it also means that we are living in a field and that our field sensors can be further out than the now point of time. So if we're further out, like mine was last year, I called a psychic, my top psychic friend who was a ballet dancer with a soloist with Baryshnikov and has been counseling Hollywood stars. She's top notch. Last September, I wrote her privately and I said, are you getting what I'm getting? And she said, I've been a pack rat. My husband thinks I'm crazy. But she's like stashing things away and preparing for things to come. So just because we're visionaries and we think we can create reality, it also means that our collective self creates it and our subconscious creates it. Like how many times have I visualized getting the CO2 levels down this last year? That worked, huh? But how many times have I hoped that something will happen to our entire global planet to where we become aware and elevate ourselves? So let's use this free time for meditation where we're being sent home, and let's focus and train our internal minds. So to that end, I've already created a free course, and I will offer this in English as well, for creating meditations to self-heal, and we'll also be able to get together on Zoom. I will send out some letters and we can meet, can do exercises with each other to increase our psychoimmunology. And in so doing, we can virtually meet and put our minds together, see each other long distance, see each other from higher perspectives, rather than just face to face while holding a cell phone. We can now sense the presence, closing our eyes and sense the presence of another person's at a long distance, and practice our psychic skills, our ability to see the past, see the future, and then work at the quantum field to shift and updraft, up-level our reality, see a more beautiful future. So what I'd like to invite you to is cooperate in the isolation part, and don't become one of those that is like ready to whatever, disobey or fight or see that the bigger government is evil and coming down on everybody. We are moving into bigger surveillance. It's been on the horizon for better or worse. When we lived in small villages, we were under much more surveillance. Everybody knew every single move, and there were no secrets. Little villages were notorious for knowing everything, and then some. So now we have AI being the big, grand seeing eye, and our disappearance into anonymity is no longer a real thing. We are being watched potentially, but it isn't any different than when we lived in small civilizations and small groups. The surveillance in small groups is way stronger, way stricter. People had to adhere to the belief systems and feelings of the group or else be outcast. I have clear memories of past lives of that. It's nothing of the freedom we experience now. My God, just having people being watched whether they break in or not. Seriously, I mean, I know. In China, they watched what people said and whether they were feeding negative information about the coronavirus and all that, and shut people down doing so. Well, every culture is going to have its own meme, its own style, and its own way. But not cooperating is only going to make it more difficult. So I trust that you are of the people who has the smarts to realize that China, when they said it's aerosolized, isn't thinking, oh no, it's just droplets and they only survive on really hard surfaces. So take a lesson from previous countries. If we can't isolate and contact trace anymore, which in America we've stopped being able to do, in Germany we've stopped being able to do, let's then do the next best thing. Be wise, be thoughtful, stay home. Hopefully you listened to your intuition and bought food quite some time ago. I sent a newsletter out in German on the 14th of February recommending everybody got ready for that. But it's always a tricky thing and I can't tell everybody what to do. So I hope in your own way, you're little by little putting things away to be prepared that when it comes around in your town, should it happen, that you can stay home and not feel ostracized. Food will probably still be available like it was in China, and we can still get things. Toilet paper you don't need. You can really use water like we all do here in Asia to do your business. It's much better. It's cleaner. And hopefully we will still have the internet to talk with each other. And please join me in the free online course. I will be doing an interview with Katja Matis on some mixing herbal tinctures that you can make, power juices to stay healthy, and I will offer a free guided meditation on self-healing that you can practice, and exercises that I might add over time. It's a free self-study course that I'll be putting on in conjunction with this newsletter to you, so you can feel free to share it with people, because the most important thing, not to have fear, is to know what the facts are, to be educated, which is there is a virus, and if you don't believe it, well, there are people dying from it, and whether they believed in it or not. In Iran, they seem to be falling over. The people who say that, well, they could have died of something else, they didn't die of the coronavirus, China tried that trick. They said, oh, they died of other causes, heart failure, diabetes, I mean, not pneumonia, I mean, for God forbid, that skews the numbers. Yes, however, people are falling over, and the more people get sick at the same time, the fewer people have space in hospitals. So be the one who's thoughtful and doesn't have your kids spread anything, so that other people have space to go to the hospitals if they need to go. Most likely you're in the perfect health group, hopefully, and generally speaking under the higher age group, like, me. 60. Oh well. At any rate, I came back from India with Dawn, and I got something that had me spooked. I had shortness of breath, tingling because I didn't get enough oxygen after having whatever cold that was from India. And I tell you, since I didn't get tested, I don't know what it was. I think it's been going around faster than we thought. Of course, because most of us will survive it, it won't look bad. But I went into self-isolation 2 weeks, then I got high dosages of vitamin C, IV infusions that knocked it out. So I can tell you that really works. Intravenous high dosages of vitamin C. I got 10,000 milligrams. That's 10 grams of intravenous vitamin C. 2 times in a row, 1 day apart. 2 days apart. It was miraculous. I did ozone therapy, but I think the vitamin C really knocked it out. It was amazing. So we went into self-isolation, not to be spreading anything, not knowing what it was. There are plenty of people who say, nah, like that lady in South Korea, it's not me. She got, 2,000 people sick? We don't want to be part of that, right? We don't want that karma. So let's be thoughtful. Let's level up to systems thinking, be part of the bee that is part of a system and can feel the system and is therefore acting to make the system work rather than fighting it. Let's assume that everybody's working for the best. Our government is trying their best. I'm hoping they're catching on. Both in America and in Germany, they were so slow to catch on because the populace is not cooperating. In Singapore, the benefit of Singaporeans is they trust their government. They don't have this projection that they're coming down like boogeymen on them. So they had a lot more cooperation. And that's what we don't have in the West. We don't have a lot of trust in the government. That's really sad. If the boogeyman came down, well, then that would be coming down whether we wanted it or not. And we can just assume this is for the better of all and will be over like it is looking like in China already. So let's do our part, level up to what Vern Wolf would call level 4 thinking, which is be a team member, think of the whole, be a member, but cooperate creatively, intelligently with the group mind and learn to feel into that. I developed that ability over decades. It's not something that can come easy because it has so many aspects, but I used dolphins as teachers in my inner mind to help me teach over decades what it means to be a team player. And that means sometimes being strong. That means sometimes listening to other people who are strong. That means, listening and cooperating for the whole to live well. Those are a couple thoughts. I have heard elderberry is not good for this case. I did promote that thought at one point because I read about it. High vitamin, lipid-based, lipoid vitamin C. I'll send a link underneath this video where you can get high vitamin C that you can take without burning your stomach. I'll send it underneath here. You can get that in America easily. That can really help. It reduces a lot of symptoms right away, but intravenous, if you have a naturopath or an office that does it, in case you need it, that would be the way to go. If you are in dire straits, I would say a defibrillator or an oxygen mask may be something you want to keep at home if that's still available. So now I recommend cutting down on the news about reading about the virus because I myself have to really apply discipline to do that. Honestly, it just keeps us going and going and going. The countries are shutting down. Stay put, stay home, and therefore you're safe. I have to deal with a lot of responsibilities, people coming to Bali, and day by day the laws are changing, so I have to stay a little bit on top of that. Like right now, they just changed last night. There is no more visa on arrival for Bali, so anybody arriving after the day after tomorrow no longer can arrive unless they've gotten a visa prior to arrival from the embassy. So let me walk you around a little bit here. I did fun things. I had carvers and I went shopping with my video camera and said, can you make me a door? And this is the door from this side. It's arc. And that's my office in pink. And then behind me is when we went into meditation and looked at what we wanted to create, I saw that what I really wanted was what both of us wanted was living in a temple. So we have the spiral ascending light case that we saw last July when we went to Florida, swimming with dolphins just by ourselves without any groups, because I promised I wouldn't do that anymore, and so I'm not. Last May, I said at the seminar, in Germany, this is my last seminar I'm teaching in Germany. And when I heard myself say that, I thought, I wonder what's coming. Here is artwork from Amarea Dreamseed. This actually he created while house-sitting our house in Hawaii. Temple, Ascension, divineblueprint.com is where you can get his artwork. So our home. So let me continue. Here is our doorway. There you go. Let's see. Can we get this in here? Our doorway into our bedroom, and then the same thing, totally opposite here. The doorway into Dawn's office. Same. So it's going to be a little bit darker because this is our bedroom. I don't know, you should be able to see all this. So, our bed, and I had my carver photograph this, and this is from India, obviously. The bed is carved, the table, everything is carved, everything is handmade. The door and looking out into our living room and the office. And then here, continuing, is my meditation spot here. And the garden is just starting. It's super hot here, and we're at the end of the rainy season. So I'll walk you, 1 second, into our... do you want to see the bathroom? Sure, why not? So this is the bathroom. Look at these gorgeous handles. These are like temple carvings that these are made from black sand. Also, this was hand carved, inspired by friends' houses. This is, let's see, are you seeing this? Yeah. Okay, so there you go. 2 wash basins. I'm soaking something. This is our outdoor shower with a straw roof over top of it. And that's our praying temple. Everybody in Bali goes to a home temple like that and always gives offerings. And here are those people. They made all the cement work, all of the cement work, all the arts and crafts everywhere. And then I have, ooh, look, I love and adore statues. I mean, you can say it's Saraswati, it's Shiva, it's whatever, dancing multiple dimensions. That's our outdoor eating area. Am I pointing in the right direction? Yeah. Okay. So that's where we'll have lunch in a minute. And this is my attempt at having a European-style living room. Very unlike me. I took a door out and put a mirror in there. And, we just moved in last week, so I think it's looking pretty awesome. This is my kitchen. I'm so stoked about it. I designed it long distance. And the cupboards are breathable for the most part. Open, some closed to look into. Natural wood here, which you can get in Bali easily enough. And Don, you're on camera. Say hi.
Hello.
Soon you will get an interview with Don about how to deal with your health on our quantum server with scalar informational fields that you can shift and utilize yourself for pennies a day. It's very inexpensive because it's a system that we have in India for the Indian users, and I'll make it available for you as well. Scalar technology. This is our living room. Well, of course, I came in through the side door, so let's do the proper. I love my Krishna. How about that? My music stand for flute playing. Here again, the artwork. And these are made in Java, primitive art. This is called a primitive chair. This is a French chaise lounge. This is a primitive table, hand carved from a root. These are Moroccan lamps that we bought in Florida and had shipped out of Turkey. And an IKEA bed. What do you think? IKEA bed. This is a handmade lamp that I got inspired by. It's hardware. Here is my little guardian. It's like in Bali they always have something that obscures the walkway. And our outdoor, we have 4 balconies. I didn't show you one yet outside of the kitchen. Here's my ballet, they call it, a straw hut. I just sat there and meditated. That's a cool spot. This is our group area when we sit with multiple peoples. In Bali I've noticed that we meet with people and Balinese have a different sense for where to sit and meet. The official meeting place, they have a sense for what is an official place to talk about documents, where you meet just casually, which is at the dinner table. And going into a living room, oh, that's a no-no. They practically don't really want to do that. It's like, oh no, I'd rather sit somewhere where it's airy and open. And I hope you enjoyed the little walk around. It's an open house. It's basically a Haveli inside out. Haveli in India has the, the internal space. There's normally a courtyard, and I have an internal space as a meditation place. And going up with a beautiful carpet from India, it's like hand embroidered. I mean, maybe machine embroidered, but hand stitched together. And then going all the way up to the lotus flower at the apex of the house. So let's do this together. Let's envision a beautiful time period where we can meet virtually and where we can center our thoughts, go into God, go into union with others, long distance, which we can practice. I just did an interview last night about making love out of body. That will air the 1st of May with Marianne, so look for an email regarding that. And it was a really fun, practical interview, so with some techniques of differentiating between the higher self and soul awareness. And watch for the interview coming up with Dawn Paris and myself about scalar technology. So, signing out, make the best of it, enjoy, stay positive. You know, what's the worst that can happen is that we have time out of work. And I think France is pardoning a lot of bills and things that are going to be the snowball effect of having to stay home and things slowing down. But we can get through it together, and we'll be there on the other end, loving each other and going, we made it, we did it, we thought of each other, and I was thoughtful of others. And you'll feel that much better about yourself. I send you love from Bali, where this is where we're going to stay. We can't even get anywhere else. Sending you love. I mean, we could fly home, but right where we are, we have so many people that are already died. I just don't want to necessarily go there. So do the best. Train your vision center. Train your intuition. It is something you can train. Join me in the course Living from Vision. If you feel like getting instructions, write me. I'll give you the link. Oh, I can put it here below this video as well. The vitamin C. Then you'll see the course on creating your own herbal juices with Katja Matis that I'll be posting, probably doing the interview tomorrow, and then a couple of guided meditations to help you self-heal or improve your health and your immunity, and then a Zoom call for all of us where we can meet, where I do a guided meditation, and we can meet in breakout rooms on Zoom to work together and share and create a global virtual community where we inspire each other, stay together, and talk from or see the evolution of humanity from a higher center. Instead of projecting the boogeyman, we will project that it is our own play. It is a reflection. And if you had hoped for less CO2 in the last year, we did a little bit of a job in that, anticipating, not necessarily knowing the ways, but I hope that somehow we can make this positively into the future. Signing out, sending you love. Bye-bye.